Hello everyone! So today is the first episode, first edition, I don't know what to call it exactly, but I'm pretty much going to be putting on my makeup while talking about things that happened in K-pop during the month of January. I'm filming this on January 30th, so hopefully nothing groundbreaking happens rest of day today or tomorrow, although in Korea it's already tomorrow, so. But either way, hopefully nothing groundbreaking happens in between me filming this and me uploading this. Hopefully I'll be able to get it up the first week of February. Not sure how hard this video will be to edit, so fingers crossed that I will be able to edit it within a reasonable amount of time. I did get my hair cut today, so I now have bangs, and I'm not used to them yet, so yeah. But they're not going to be in my face anyway. I actually need a headband. Let me grab it. I haven't needed a headband in a while. I can't remember the last time I've needed a headband to do my makeup. I'll be back. Give me a minute. I won't really be talking about the products that I put on my face. I will list them all in the description if you're wondering, but I do have my list here. I should have written bigger. I am blind. Holy crap. Well, at least I kind of have most of this memorized, so. You know, it's a sad day when you realize exactly how blind you are. But, yeah, I have my list over to the side on this, down on this side, so that's where I might be looking over there. I have my little mirror in front of me here, so if I look down, that's what I'm looking at. But for the most part, I will be using other mirrors, like mirrors in the palettes and things for my eye makeup. So yes, let's just get into this. A couple things that I did want to mention as far as things that happened last month in end of December that I think are kind of worth mentioning. There was the whole thing with CLC where one of their members, I believe it was Elkie? I'm not very familiar with the members of CLC. I love their music, but I don't know the members very well. So she's pretty much suing Cube Entertainment with a Chinese law firm. She's from China, I believe. But they're suing Cube for not following up on their end of her contract, saying that they didn't promote her properly and stuff. So, I mean, it's honestly kind of heartbreaking, but at the same time, Cube doesn't have the best reputation as far as artist management. Like, they're kind of notoriously bad in regards to artist management. A man frame. Let me zoom out a little bit. Maybe that's better. Yeah, the Cube's notoriously bad with how they manage their artists. So while the news is heartbreaking, it's not surprising. And honestly, yeah, the way Cube has managed CLC, like I said, I'm not really a fan of the group or anything. I listen to their music, but I don't know the members very well or anything like that. But even from the outside looking in, there's definite missed opportunities, which I think is really sad. I also wanted to mention the news of Gugudan's disbandment, which is honestly just kind of heartbreaking. They had the potential to be like the next big girl group. They had a member from IOI, so they had like that backing. Like, they had the talent, they had everything going for them, and oh, there's a bunch of product on this side that I didn't use and I just kept squeezing. guess? Okay. Yeah, so they... Oh no, I've made a terrible mistake. I wanted to use my beauty blender. Oh well, we'll use this brush. Yeah. So they had it all going for them, but this is another thing where it's not really unexpected, just because the last time they released anything, I was like 2 years ago, I want to say, like as a full release, like a mini or an EP or whatever you want to call it. That was the last time they had anything like that. Other than that, they've been doing a lot of OSTs for not original soundtracks, but OSTs for dramas and things, but they haven't really done any promotions as a group. So am I shocked that this is happening? No. Am I honestly kind of upset about it? Yes. Mostly because, like I said, they had everything going for them. They already had an established fan base coming to the group with the member. I believe it was just one member, maybe two. But I know for sure one member of Gugudan was in IOI. So you already had the recognition from fans. You had incredibly talented artists. Like, they had everything going for them, and it's another situation that's just really frustrating as far as artist management. So I did just want to mention those two things, even though they came out at end of December. I wanted to mention them because that was kind of big news. So then, as far as some smaller news, there's a SHINee comeback coming sometime. I anticipate, they haven't announced any dates or anything. It was just officially announced at SM's free New Year's Eve concert. And I don't believe they've announced any dates or anything yet. But I do expect that it will be probably end of February, early March. That's what I expect. And I'm really excited because of course there hasn't been a SHINee comeback in a while, with 3 of the members being in the military. So Taemin was doing solo activities and Super M stuff. But it'll be really cool to see what they do. Because they always, I feel like, come with something that you don't expect. That's kind of SHINee's thing, I feel. And Wendy's back. Yeah, Wendy was also on the New Year's Eve concert for SM. Sorry, I'm looking for a brush. Here we go. Okay, sorry about that. I had to let my dog out. But what was I doing? Blush, that's what I was doing. And Wendy, that's what we were talking about. Yeah, so Wendy had her first public appearance since the whole accident with SBS at Gayo... Was it Gayo Daejeon? I don't quite remember. I know it was one of the SBS held events where pretty much, if you don't know the whole situation, Wendy last year around Christmas time, New Year's, I believe it was around Christmas time, it was before one of the major award shows. They were doing a rehearsal and a drop wasn't marked properly, and so there weren't steps for her to go off of, and so she ended up falling like over 6 feet. I don't know the exact height or anything, but she ended up falling, and she like broke her hip and her cheekbone and her elbow, or her wrist. I think it was her wrist, but it was a pretty serious thing. And yeah, but she's back. She had her first public appearance New Year's Eve, wherever it was in your time zone. For me, it was on New Year's Eve. But she had that. It was really nice to see her again, and she seems okay. She was dancing and performing and doing her thing, and she looked great. So I wish her all the best. And yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Red Velvet has a comeback coming up. I don't know when it would be, but I wouldn't be surprised if they have at least one more comeback before their contract renewal comes up, because I believe that is coming up in the summer. So I wouldn't be surprised if SM does one more comeback before they have to negotiate with the members on that in regards to contracts and everything. I just realized I babbled on about Wendy without even doing my makeup, so I apologize. But then NYX, Aaron is taking a break for anxiety. He's like working on his mental health and everything, and I really hope he is able to recover and, you know, do what he needs to do to feel better, because speaking from someone who has anxiety, it sucks. And I can't imagine being in the position of an idol and having anxiety. So, like, major props to him for recognizing it and for, like, taking the steps he needs to for his mental health. Side note, my heater just kicked in, and it can get quite loud, and I don't know why, but my camera mic likes to pick up on it. It's not that loud in person, and I say this all the time. It's not that loud in person, but it's really loud on camera. So I'm sorry if it's really loud for a bit. It'll be on for a while and then it won't, but you know, I don't want to freeze. It's quite cold outside today. So, yes. Let's see what else. Oh, there are a few big topics that we have to talk about and a few littler ones. I briefly do want to mention the whole K-Town For You thing. Pretty much what happened was K-Town For You said that they were going to have stock of out-of-print albums from SM artists. So, for example, Red Velvet's Finale, both the scrapbook and the finale versions were back on sale. NCT, pretty much all of their early discography, so all of Dream's early stuff, all of 127's stuff, Wavy's Take Over the Moon, the sequel, that was back up for stock, or back up for sale. Even some of FX's albums were back up for sale, and everyone was like really excited. They're like, oh my word, SM is like printing things again and we can finally get these albums. And turns out K-Town For You never ran it past SM before saying that they were going to get this stock, or that a reprint was happening. They just kind of were like, a reprint's happening, and posted things for sale on their website. And I'm gonna be making a whole video separate to this later. It'll be posted after this video, maybe before, probably after. Probably like the day after I post this video, I'll post that one. But, or that video will be posted the day before this video is posted. Either way, once it is posted, I'll try and remember to go in and link it up here. Otherwise, just check my channel, it'll be up sometime. But yeah, it was this whole thing, and then they pretty much had to tell their customers, oh, we never cleared it with SM, and SM released a statement as well saying, Yeah, those albums aren't in print. We are in discussion to see what we can do though. And that's kind of where it's at, but there's a few things that I recently realized which actually really makes me angry, and so that's why I'm going to be making that separate video. But I did want to mention it briefly here because I feel like it's a pretty big thing, at least as if you're a fan of any of those SM artists. It's a pretty big deal. Even if you're not, I feel like it's a big deal as far as supporting a company and everything like that. So yeah, even if you're not affected by those, or you didn't like buy any of those albums or anything, I would encourage you to check out that video because, like I said, there's something that I realized recently that instead of just being disappointed with the whole situation, I'm actually angry. Like, legitimately kind of furious about it. So yeah, whenever that does go up, please check it out because I think it might point out some things that haven't been pointed out before. But with that being said, that was kind of one of the smaller things that I wanted to touch on. I also wanted to briefly mention Kingdom is going to be very interesting. Kingdom, I believe it's scheduled to begin airing in April. I believe their first air date is April 1st. But the reason why I think it's going to be so interesting is because you have the boys, ATEEZ, and Stray Kids. So like 3 monster rookie groups. And you might say, oh, they're not rookies anymore. But in the grand scheme of things, they're rookies. They're baby groups. So you have those 3. And then there's also, let's see, I believe SF9 confirmed their appearance. They're kind of more established as a group. There's also, and these are the 2 that like completely kind of blow my mind, iKON and BTOB have confirmed that they're going to be on Kingdom. I don't know what Mnet did to be able to convince them to join. iKON I can kind of see a little bit more just because YG isn't in the best position, like, as a company. They kind of have a not as great of a reputation as they used to have. It's not as bad as it was like a year ago. A year ago it was trash. Like, no one really wanted to do business with YG. At least in my perception they didn't. That's not to say that that's fact, but just like from an outside perspective, that's how I viewed it. But I feel like it's getting better now. So to that extent, I can understand why iKON is going on. BTOB really confuses me though. Well, but like I said, they both really confuse me because I feel like you have rookie groups, a kind of more established group, and then these 2 groups that, like I said, I don't really know what Mnet is having over them because BTOB actually initially rejected being on the show, which is why I'm like, why are you now confirmed to be on the show? What did they tell you? Like, what did they say to change your mind? That kind of, again, just from an outsider perspective looking in, that's sketchy. And maybe it's just because I'm like a conspiracy theorist sometimes, and most of the time I see the worst in people, or I assume like people have bad intentions, or not necessarily bad intentions, but that they have like alternate motives, like they're not just being nice to be nice, like they're being nice because they want something or whatever it might be. So if that's like I said, that's just how my brain works. I try to see the best in people and I try to kind of push that part of my brain aside, but my brain always is like in the very back, it's like, but what about, or what if? And I'm just like, shut up, brain. But again, that's all besides the point. I'm really interested to see how that'll go because some of those rookie groups, I call them rookie groups, they're not rookie groups. I can only imagine how weird that's going to be for them because those groups are probably groups that they practiced to when they were trainees and everything. So that's going to be very interesting to see those dynamics. I'm actually kind of excited to see how the groups interact. I'm hoping that we'll see more group interactions than we did with Road to Kingdom, because Road to Kingdom was very limited and you didn't really see the groups interacting beyond just like, hi, how are you, on stage, or like when they're like, they were all, I call them bleachers, when they were on those like stands and things. You didn't really see them interacting. So I'm really hoping with Kingdom they'll do more of what they did with Queendom, where you'll see members of groups interacting, because I really liked that about Queendom. But I don't know if we'll get that, just because I know safety regulations and everything have been really strict in Korea recently. So I think it just kind of depends on COVID regulations. So yeah, I did want to mention that briefly as well. Let me put my highlighter on while I keep babbling on. I did also want to briefly mention 17 has been making moves in America recently. They had a couple of American broadcast performances. So there was The Late Late Show with James Corden, and also Kelly Clarkson's show. They were on that as well. To be honest, I didn't know Kelly Clarkson had a show, but she does. So they were on that, and both performances were really good. They weren't live performances or anything, but I think it's just really interesting to see them making moves to be on American TV. I don't know how much of that is like Big Hit influenced, now that Big Hit is a major shareholder in Pledis, but I do think it's very interesting, and you can kind of see echoes of how BTS originally started coming onto American TV. There's kind of that parallel. So it's very interesting to see. I'm very interested to see what will be coming up. But yeah, we'll see. So, and I just needed to mention that just because I am a fan of theirs, and I needed to brag on them a little bit. And then getting into kind of more serious stuff. Two more things. Well, two more news topics, and then we'll talk about music that I've really been enjoying this month. So as far as news, there was also news of Momoland's Nancy. Her photo, or her image, was being like deep faked or something on some less than PG images. I'm going to just put it that way. But yeah, it was not good. I will give MLD, is that her company? I'll give her company credit though. They were very vocal about it, and so it sounds like they're actually in communication with the police and everything to get everything shut down and possibly even press charges, which I think is really, really good. Like, it's awful that the whole situation even exists, because that's just not right, and I hope she's okay. She seems to be okay. She posted a few times on her Instagram stories, I believe, her personal Instagram stories. So I don't know if she's made any like Instagram posts or anything, but and again, not a group that I follow or anything, but I did just want to mention that because that's, not only is it big news, but I feel like it kind of sets a standard for how companies should react to situations like that. And so I hope more companies will take action when things like that happen. So apparently my camera stops recording, but I don't know when it stopped recording. So to just briefly sum up in case any of that was cut out, I do hope Nancy's doing well. I hope she's like taking care of herself and that she's okay. And like I said, I do hope that the way her company is handling this situation is setting kind of a standard and so if situations like this happen in the future, which I'm sure they will, people are trash, so like I said, so I'm sure it will happen again, but I do hope that the steps they are taking will kind of encourage other companies to do the same in the future. And then also, I did want to mention, and I think this was the biggest news, at least in kind of my corner of the internet this past month, it was that GOT7 left JYP Entertainment, which it's not a surprise at all, to me at least, knowing kind of how it's not been a secret that the members didn't love the management or anything under JYP Entertainment. I know JYP has kind of different divisions, and I believe GOT7 was managed by Division 2. But if I'm wrong, I will put a thing on the screen over here. But I do believe they were managed by Division 2, and I know there's just a lot of issues with that particular branch of JYP Entertainment. So, yeah. It was actually very interesting to see it all kind of go down though, just because, like I said, I don't think anyone who really follows GOT7 or anything like that, no one was really surprised by it. There was a little bit of shock that apparently the offer was given to a few of the members to renew their contracts, but those members refused unless all the members could renew their contracts, and that's not something that the company was willing to do, which I find it very interesting. That, I think, was probably a very, very risky move, and I don't know if we'll fully know the extent of kind of what GOT7 brought to the company for a few months. But yeah, that was very interesting and it really speaks to how much all seven of them wanted to continue as a group. They've also made very clear since the news that they're no longer under JYP, they've made very clear that they are like still willing to work together and everything, as far as their Instagram posts and everything. So that will be interesting to see what will happen. I can't really think of, in my knowledge, very many groups who have, if any, who have had comebacks while under the same name while under different entertainment companies. Because Jinyoung signed with an acting agency, and Jackson is kind of working under his own label that he does all of his Chinese promotions under, as well as, and he partnered with Sublime Agency, I believe. And I believe that's Rain's company. So they're partnered, and I don't know if any of the other members have like confirmed that they're like with a different company or anything like that. There have been rumors, but I don't believe anything else has been confirmed. But I will say that it will be very interesting to see what happens, and I do think that if anyone were to be able to make a comeback work while under different entertainment companies, I do think it would be GOT7. But like I said, we'll just have to wait and see how that all plays out. I might have just made a mistake by putting on that color on my lid. We'll see. Oh, there was another group that disbanded that I wanted to mention. And that was a relatively new group. So it was kind of shocking that they announced it, but it was the group Enoi, E-N-O-I, I believe. I'll put it on the screen. But yeah, they announced it, and several of their members are staying under the original company and several of their members are leaving. So it's very interesting. Like I said, they were a pretty new group. So, ooh, sorry. That was honestly shocking. And again, not a group I'm super familiar with, but I like a few of their songs, so I hope that all the members are able to do what they love in the future and that they'll be happy and everything, so I wish them all the best. Okay, and then moving right on into just music I've been loving this month. I'll be honest, there haven't been a ton of releases that I've really, really loved or had on repeat or anything like that. But Bobby released his new album recently, and that's been really good. I've listened to that a few times. Oh no, I just messed that up. Yeah, just messed that up. Okay, fun. Yeah, Bobby's album I've really been liking. I've also really been liking Epic High's new album is so good. I have been listening to that kind of on repeat. It's so good. I've really, really been enjoying it. So those are the two major ones that I've been really, really listening to a ton. Cherry Bullet, their new mini album, I've listened to a few times. It's, yeah, I do like it. I haven't really, I don't really stand the group or anything, but I have really enjoyed that release. Also, Yuno's album has really impressed me. Something about it feels more like early springtime to me, not so much like winter-y. Like, it almost sounds like a March album. I don't know why. And I could be the only person that feels like that. And maybe I'm the only person that like thinks of albums as in terms of seasons, but, or specific months even. But yeah, for some reason, his new album, I believe it's called Noir, but it just feels like a March album to me. Like, it just gives off March vibes. Yeah, I think that has really been the major ones that I've been listening to. Anything else? Let me look at my Spotify. Well, let me finish this eyeball first, and then I'll look at my Spotify. Okay. Oh, Baekhyun's new Japanese album I've really been enjoying as well. I tend to really love Japanese music that artists put out. I don't know if it's because when I was growing up, when I was like really little, I was exposed to a lot of Japanese. I'm sure that's why. So it sounds more familiar to me. It sounds somewhat homey almost. So yeah, but I have really been enjoying that album as well. The lead single off of that album is spicy. It's really good. And the music video is phenomenal. So, I think that's it for eyeballs. Now we do eyeliner. And I think that's it as far as what I really wanted to talk about. So I'll just kind of do my eyes, I'll speed through it, and then do closing at the end. So yeah, give me a couple minutes. Okay, so that's the final look. Nothing fancy. Correction. That's the final look. Still nothing fancy. But yeah, I had a lot of fun filming this video. Sorry, fiddling with my bangs. I did have a lot of fun filming this video, so I hope you guys enjoyed watching it. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, or leave a comment, or both. Both is good. Yeah, like I said, this will be a monthly thing on my channel. So the next one will be posted either end of February or beginning of March for February's news. It honestly just depends on my schedule and where weekends line up and everything like that. So it just happens so that the weekend of this month is the very end of the month, and yeah, so that's why it's being filmed at the end of the month, and why you'll get it hopefully on the 1st of February, if not tomorrow, the 31st of January. I'm hoping for the 31st of January, but we'll see. I haven't quite made up my mind 100%. So whenever this goes up, I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, as always, I hope you guys are having a wonderful whatever time of the day it is, wherever you are. I hope you're staying safe and you're staying healthy. And I love you guys. I'll see you in the next one.